Throughout history, vaccines have been critical in protecting us against serious diseases. Vaccines have proved themselves as the most effective way to prevent disease, and statistics overwhelmingly support this. Today, there is much debate in childhood vaccines. In this presentation, I aim to show parents and others that by vaccinating your children, you're making the right decision. A historic example of the effectiveness of vaccines is the diphtheria infection. This dangerous infection allows a thick gray membrane to cover the throat and tonsils, which prevents proper breathing. Diphtheria killed over 15,000 Americans in 1921 alone. After a vaccine was developed, only 2 cases of diphtheria have been reported from 2004 to 2014. Vaccines work by providing immunity to a disease by imitating a real infection. Minor symptoms may occur and are normal when the body is building immunity. The body creates T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes that, thanks to the imitation infection, have learned to fight the infection if a real infection is present. Through vaccination, we can protect future generations. Many once serious diseases have been nearly eliminated. For example, polio was a virus that attacked the brain and spinal cord, causing paralysis. Through continued use of vaccines, polio has been eliminated in the United States. Polio is still active in countries without access to vaccines, which proves the effectiveness of vaccines. In the United States, great measures are taken to ensure vaccines are as safe as possible. Clinical trials are done before the vaccine is made available. The FDA uses data from these trials to ensure the vaccine is safe for use and ready for use. Once the vaccine is in use, safety studies are conducted to monitor vaccine safety and look for rare adverse effects. There are anti-vaccine movements around the world that can have dangerous effects on parents on the fence about vaccines. These movements often spread misinformation about the safety of vaccines. They falsely claim there are links between autism and vaccines and claim vaccines contain dangerous ingredients. These movements are simply wrong and dangerous. Anti-vax movements have proven to be dangerous. Using pertussis, for example, in developed countries where anti-vax movements have been popular. Compared to countries with consistent DTP vaccination, pertussis incidence was 10 to 100 times lower in countries where high vaccination rates were maintained. If immunization rates drop, diseases that have been under control thanks to vaccinations can reemerge. It has happened in the past in many developed countries. For example, Japan in 1974 had an 80% vaccination rate and only 393 cases of pertussis, or whooping cough, with no deaths. Vaccination rates dropped dramatically in the following years, and only about 10% of children were vaccinated. This resulted in a large resurgence of pertussis, and in 1979 there were 13,000 cases of whooping cough and 41 deaths. Cases like these demonstrate the importance of consistent vaccination. A false sense of security and lowering vaccination rates can give diseases a dangerous resurgence that can be avoided. Another major argument against childhood vaccines is the assumption that there is a link between vaccines and autism. Thorough studies have been done over this, and no link has ever been found. The MMR vaccine is commonly cited as a vaccine that causes autism. There is no proof of this, and this assumption may be because the vaccine is typically given around the same time a child demonstrates signs of ASD. A common argument against childhood vaccines are vaccines contain harmful ingredients. While some vaccines contain ingredients harmful in large doses, the amount of these ingredients in vaccines are negligible. We consume more of these ingredients through normal eating and drinking in one day than you would receive from a vaccine. There have been some claims that those against vaccines commonly say. One of these is that vaccines can infect a child with the disease it is trying to protect against. Even displaying symptoms of the illness the vaccine is protecting against, it is extremely rare. Less than 1 in 1 million cases have shown symptoms of the disease. In these cases where an individual is displaying symptoms similar to those of the illness the vaccine protects against, this can be attributed to the body's immune system responding to the vaccine, not the disease. An individual has only once ever gotten the disease the vaccine protects against, in a since discontinued polio vaccine. Another common argument is that vaccines cause devastating lifelong side effects. While vaccines do have side effects, the vast majority are mild. These include pain and swelling where the shot was given, headaches, mild fever, chills, feeling tired, and muscle and joint aches. These side effects are mild and usually go away quickly without any further medical intervention. There are possible serious side effects from vaccines, but they are incredibly rare. For example, if 1 million doses of a vaccine are given, 1 to 2 people may have severe allergic reactions. Because these side effects are so rare, getting vaccinated is much safer than risking getting. Vaccinations save money. By vaccinating, we reduce the amount of hospitalizations and costs associated with treatment of these preventable illnesses, some of which can have lifelong damage. Health insurers recognize this, and most are required to cover vaccines free. Most vaccines are covered under the Affordable Care Act. Those against childhood vaccines often claim that infant immune systems are too weak to handle so many vaccines. This is false. A baby's immune system is perfectly able to handle even many vaccines at once. Babies are exposed to bacteria and viruses like anyone else, and vaccines are negligible in comparison. By living in a developed country, we have the privilege of being able to get ourselves and our children vaccinated. In developing countries, they are not as lucky, and deaths from vaccine-preventable diseases are still devastating. Worldwide, over 140,000 people died from measles in 2018, most of which were children under 5. By choosing not to vaccinate your children, you're not only putting your child in danger, but others who are not vaccinated. A vaccine-preventable disease cannot be spread to those with the vaccine, but non-vaccinated individuals can pass the disease to other non-vaccinated individuals. If most are vaccinated, the spread can be contained. In conclusion, through thorough study and data, you should absolutely vaccinate your children. The concerns about vaccines are either unfounded or severely blown out of proportion. The benefits of vaccinations far outweigh any concerns you may have. By vaccinating, you are protecting your child and anyone who comes in contact with your child.